Yeah, hey, Joe, thanks so much. We do indeed have Jimmy Thackery and the Drivers live in Studio B. Jimmy, welcome back. Yeah, when was the last couple years ago you were here, something like that?
Yeah, 2 years ago, I think, something like that.
The dust has just settled from the last time you were here, so might as well kick it up again.
Okay.
Seriously, thanks for coming back.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having us.
Probably, I think the last time you were here we talked about this, but I mean, you can scorch the guitar strings like anyone, but your playing is so melodic.
You can take blues, and everyone puts me in the blues box, and that's fine.
Right.
I don't mind that. I've done a lot of that, and that's really where all of this stuff really comes from anyway. I mean, all of these scales are out of the blues scale, the pentatonic scale. So, but yeah, I've made a conscious effort to try to inject melody into the stuff that I write. And I think it's, you know, my goal is to play the solo in a blues song that somebody can whistle in the shower the next day. You know?
Yeah.
Is that kind of thing.
As you matured, is that...
Yeah, it's been a conscious thing. It has absolutely been conscious. It's as conscious as I get.
Thank God for that.
I mean, you often hear musicians say as they grow older, as they mature, they start leaving out. It's fewer notes. Or
Yeah.
Got it.
My old friend Stevie Vaughan said, I spent my whole life up to now learning every lick in the world. Now I'm trying to figure out which ones to leave at home.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, that's brilliant. That's really where it's at. That's what I think. That's the sign of a maturing player.
Once you get to a certain level, I mean, you've got the technique, you've got all these skills. How do you get better as a musician at a certain point? What do you do to
Practice.
That's still what it is?
I hate to say it. But all you guys that think there's a silver bullet out there, it ain't there.
How much do you practice?
I practice all the time. I practice all the time at home. I've got a little setup in my little studio, and it's just one of those things. When I'm not doing anything else, I've got one of these in my hand, and I'm just noodling away. I'm not consciously saying, okay, play this scale. Right. I'm just noodling around to see what stuff comes out. 9 times out of 10, I'll just hit something, maybe even by mistake, and I'll say, well, I kind of like that. Let's make a song out of that.
And that's true of songwriting as well as the guitar playing?
Yeah, it's true of everything. I mean, they're all together. They're all melded together, really.
Yeah. This is Jimmy Thackery and the Drivers. I know y'all got 3 shows in our area starting tomorrow night at the Down Home over in Johnson City.
Yes.
And then on Friday night at Mo Daddy's up in Asheville, and then over to Charlotte, sort of hitting the triangle there at the Double Door Inn. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
You give me a blank look, making sure I got that right.
No, I give a lot of those.
Trust me, we're used to seeing those.
Jimmy, who's playing with you today?
This is Russ Wilson on the drums and vocals back here. And this is, of course, Mark Bumgarner, alias Bumpy Rhodes.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Russ from Hendersonville, right?
Yes.
You still live in you live in Hendersonville?
I still live in Hendersonville.
Got the big band thing and
still do the big band thing as much as I can when he's not keeping me tied up on the highway.
Yeah, which is
a
just
lot.
about every day of the year, right?
Yeah.
In the trunk of my Cadillac. All right.
Jimmy, what do you like about the trio format? I know you've added other voicings before, but
It's cheaper.
More money, more money, more money.
Oh, money!
And we have, before we went on air, we had a clarification of why the band's called the Drivers. It's because you're a passenger only. Is that,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I woke up one day, I was 41 years old, realized I'd never gotten a license.
Is that true?
That's absolutely true. And it's 80s again. And, you know, and so I just thought, well, why start now, you know?
It would be Jimmy Driver in the prison band, you know.
Yeah. So,
That's why working on a live record, is that right?
yeah, we just came back from Detroit where we did a live CD and a DVD all at once and a documentary to boot.
Wow.
So we did 3 things at once. You know, boy, talk about, you know, a lot going on. I think we had 5 or 6 cameras, and then fortunately the club and the engineer were set up to already record. So that was pretty easy. But then you bring in all the video guys and all their trucks and their cameras and wires and all that kind of stuff. So we got a little, you know, and we had a packed house. So it was, and then we had another guy running around with his own high definition camera doing background stuff. So that's going to be kind of a documentary about how the whole thing was done. And
When is all that going to?
well, in a perfect world, which of course it's not, we're looking at next March. That's what we're hoping for.
Sweet. Since the 1970s, I bet, how many shows have you done? I mean,
Gee,
10,000 shows?
how many hairs on your head?
Yeah.
I mean, I've done more than that.
Yeah.
So.
Over the years, I mean, assuming you still like it because you're still doing them, but,
Yeah.
but it must have changed your relationship
Oh,
to
yeah.
the audience and what you get out of it. And
You know, the whole thing is a work in progress, is the way I look at it. And it started for me back in about 1965 or 6, and it's morphed into all kinds of different things. I mean, I've tried to stay as close to my roots as I can, but the stuff around you changes, and you have to kind of reinvent yourself from time to time in order to hang in there. And right now it's a very different situation. I mean, we literally find ourselves driving over 1,000 miles to get from one weekend cluster of things to the next weekend cluster of things, because there's just not much out there on Mondays and Tuesdays and stuff like that, like there used to be. And so we find ourselves actually covering a lot more area, covering a lot more ground, but, we're really focusing on our Thursday, Fridays, Saturdays, and sometimes Sundays.
mm-hmm.
And then drive another 1,000 miles and go to some other part of the world.
So you live for the weekends.
Yeah, you have to live for the weekends these days, which is fine. I mean, literally 300 nights a year, which is what I was used to, playing every night. I mean, it beats you up, even if you're 30 years old and bulletproof.
Mm-hmm.
It gets to you after a while. And I'm not so sure that I'm up for that any longer, being quite a bit older.
Blues over 50.
Blues over 50.
Easy enough. And also, Jimmy, I want to say thanks for donating a song to us for a Crowd Around the Mic a couple years ago.
Absolutely.
One of the highlights on that.
My pleasure and an honor.
That is awesome. Thank you so much for coming in.
All right.
Come
Thank you
again.
very
And
much.
looking forward to the live record in March, too.
Yeah, me too.
All right. This is WNCW. We're going to get to one from the
Thanks,
Felice Brothers.